They did it. I'm telling you guys, this is it. Bethesda have finally nailed their combat system, and I'm telling you, it's going to change everything. Welcome to Starfield Signal, your place for everything Starfield. And guys, I don't think this is hyperbole. I really do think that Bethesda's new combat system is going to revolutionize their games. Think about what this means for not only their new Starfield IP, but what it could mean for Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5, Starfield 2 in our lifetime, maybe. Okay, let's just dive right into our overview of Starfield's new combat system.
Mod your weapons to adapt them to your playstyle. Different weapon sights and scopes, larger magazines, a selection of grips and barrels, different ammunition like explosive rounds.
Okay, so I love this first section here. He gives just kind of a brief overview of the different things that you can mod and customize about your guns. I wish they would have given a couple of different examples from different kinds of guns. Like this looked like it was some sort of assault rifle or machine gun. I wish they would have done this on a pistol and a sniper rifle, a long barrel rifle as well, maybe even a heavy weapon. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? We're happy for any kind of information we can get. So let's walk through this step by step. So he says we can customize through. This is kind of, here's the main body here. This is our receiver slot, and we have a fully automatic component in here. We could probably move this to semi-automatic, and I imagine that between these different mods, that there's risk and reward, right? That there's pluses and minuses, and so we might again, this is kind of assuming because we didn't get to see a lot of examples, but if we did change this to maybe a semi-automatic, then maybe our damage would go up, or maybe that would give us the ability to put in other mods that the fully automatic doesn't allow. So there's going to be a little bit of give and take, I'm sure, and all these are deeper RPG mechanics, right? Like we've been talking about for a while. Bethesda kind of showed their hand a little bit here in a good way, in that they've said, hey, here's kind of where we're going with this. This is proof that we're really investing in these choices that matter to your playstyle. And as they keep going, let's just go down a little bit more here.
Weapon sights and scopes, larger magazines.
He says weapon sights and scopes, bigger magazines. So here we see that there's just iron sights on it, and that's these little kind of notches right above the barrel right here. And so obviously most of you have probably played games with gunplay before, but this is just where you line up these two things in your sights as you kind of aim down the barrel. And obviously you don't have to aim, but you can free fire or hip fire, as they say, but that's what those are. And so that just lets us know that in addition to this, we could put a scope on if we wanted to, or maybe a different kind of sights that maybe isn't even a scope, but maybe it's just a different kind of reticule that would help for better aiming. Lots of different customization options. For the magazine and battery, we see here that it has a drum magazine, which is really cool. That's this guy right down here. Let me see if I can back up just a touch where it's not highlighted.
Sneeze the guy.
Here we go. And I'll try to zoom in on this in post so you can get a better idea of what it is. But so this drum, that means it's kind of circular, right? And so there's a bunch of rounds in here, a bunch of bullets in here that kind of circle around. And as you fire, they kind of come up the chamber and it fires them out, right? This is Gunplay 101 with Signal. You're welcome. And let's keep going here. So we got the drum magazine, and then it also had on there, he doesn't go down to highlight it, but it also has some options for your muzzle right here, muzzle brake. So we see this is our muzzle right here, right on the end. There's the tip. And then it also has these slots here. So this is the muzzle brake kind of muzzle. We have seen later on that we'll get to eventually, but for pistols, you can get a suppressor, which kind of goes on the end right here, like a little attachment. We didn't see that on an assault rifle kind of weapon, but we do know that we can also have long barrel rifles, like for sniping, and I would assume that those can have suppressors on them as well. I didn't notice that the first 2 or 3 times I've watched through this, but I wasn't exactly looking for it. So we'll look for it again as we go through. And hey, that's this section. Real quick before we move on, let's take a look at what we got over here. So looks like pretty basic, not necessarily basic, but familiar stats as far as the gunplay goes. So again, as we change these different mods, it may update some of these stats. So we know that this, it's a modified drum beat rifle that gives us 8 points of physical damage. And notice they have different ammo types in addition to different gun types, which I thought was really interesting. That's kind of an even deeper mechanic there. They also have these heavy-like weapons that they call them electromagnetic ballistic array weapons. And those are the kind with like several barrels on them. They have all those laser points. They have all those laser sights on them, and they just shred enemies. We'll get back to those here in just a minute. But very cool, just noting that they have a lot of different customization options here. In addition to the ammo, they also have your magazine. So you have 60 rounds in your drum chamber here, or excuse me, in your drum magazine. We also have your total rounds. So this is how many rounds you have on you. And being your fire rate is 160. You could go through all of these rounds pretty quickly. And you also have your accuracy here, your range. Of course, you can shoot farther, but this is like an optimal range where your sights are going to be optimized for, and the damage is going to be optimized for. So we have this mass here, 4.5, and then value, what you could sell it for or what you bought it for. And then, of course, the mod slots that we have here. So we see it has 7. So let's see, how many do we actually see? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He actually says here in just a second what our other 2 mod slots are, and those are grips and barrels. So in addition to just your muzzle right here, you're also going to have your barrel. And so we could mod this to have a bigger barrel or a longer barrel. Again, that's going to increase your accuracy, maybe increase your range as well, or maybe even shorter barrels that, like for a shotgun, for instance, that may increase your spread, so increase the amount of damage you can do in a shorter distance, but maybe decrease your range. And then for your grips, that's going to be all this stuff down here. And again, that's going to directly affect probably your accuracy and maybe even like a recoil value that isn't shown here. That may just be like hey, you get basically less recoil or more recoil depending on this, but we don't see that value here. It may just be listed under the mod slot. We'll see, hopefully. And on this next screen, we see where he kind of goes into the mods for the magazine and battery components. And here it shows us explosive rounds. We see that the drum magazine that was down here before is changed into this explosive round magazine. And notice over here that for explosive rounds, we need adhesive, we need tetrafluorides, and we also need lead. So this is kind of some additional crafting within this customization options right here. And so we know that we need 3 adhesives, 3 tetrafluorides, and 3 leads to create at least 1 round of explosive rounds. And so these are things that we're going to need to note as we adventure, as we journey through the stars. We will kind of note whichever play style we want. Hey, I want to make sure that I'm picking up my adhesives, and my looting and my tetrafluorides and my lead, or maybe even we could break down other guns or other bullet types that we don't want to use for our play style, and we can start to collect these from breaking those down as well. That would be very cool. And we also notice that as we change to explosive rounds, our magazine size decreases, right? We don't have that big drum here anymore with all those rounds in it, but so we went to about half, but we also increased our physical ballistic damage or explosive damage to 14.8 from just 8 points, that's a good trade-off if you ask me. We also decreased our mass, which is good, which that probably affects your recoil as well. And we also increased our value, and it's just showing us that we added on a mod slot, an active mod slot. And here it shows us here, explosive rounds and muzzle brake. here it's showing us that required research, we still need to research the magazine and battery mods too. And maybe after we do that, this will increase our mod slots. Maybe instead of 7 total, we would move up to 10, or maybe this would increase the amount of variety that we have within our options. I don't know exactly for sure, but it's a good thing to research that for sure. This looks incredible. You notice that as he's firing, it kind of looks like sparks are going everywhere. This character is shooting this robot, and right here you see an explosion. So all these aren't sparks from like the ballistics hitting a metal robot. These are tiny little explosions that are happening with our explosive rounds. And so this looks really cool. Even if explosive rounds weren't necessarily like important to you as far as the damage and all that stuff, just the look of it looks amazing. I'm a fan. I usually don't mess around with different ammo types a lot in games like this, just because I'm like, I don't really see the point. Like, you have to craft it and kind of go out of your way just to get them, and then you go through them really quickly. But because they look so good here, I might change my playstyle just for that, because it looks great. Let's keep moving.
All you stealth players out there will surely need a suppressor.
Here we go. So this is a suppressor we were talking about earlier. Right here, kind of attaches on to the end of this pistol. It also has your laser sight here, coming this way. And then we also have these are maybe like a step up from iron sights. It's still not a scope, but it's going to give you like a little reticule right in there. That's going to help aim a little bit better, maybe increase your accuracy. Headshot, headshot, headshot. And we see, just so we're noting, we also see here that this is contributing to this character's skill upgrades, right? Pistol certification, kill 20 enemies with a pistol. He just killed his 20th right there, so it upgraded. I think we've also seen in one of the other sections, maybe the skill section, where there is an upgrade, or no, it's a little bit later here with the sniper rifle. There's also an upgrade path for stealth kills as well, and this is probably counting towards that as well, but the pistol certification just happened to be the one that actually upgraded in this moment. And again, notice, I know we've seen this before, but notice on the gun we have our rounds listed here. And so if you wanted to, there's probably some customization options where you can even hide some of this if you want to, since it's kind of redundant on the screen. But it's nice that we have it right here on the weapon as well as down here. And of course, we also get, for sneak attack, 2.1 times damage. I know we all love that. There's going to be a lot of stealth players here. We also notice that here it gives us our indication that we are hidden. We'll go back to another moment in the trailer, but there's like the mechanic here is like there's like some bars that kind of grow and kind of bloom and then contract as you're more hidden or less hidden or about to be discovered. We'll look at that in just a few minutes. I say just a few minutes like this isn't going to be another 40-minute. It probably is. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so we see just a couple examples here of some melee weapons, which is awesome. We have our combat knife. That looks really good. Definitely looks like a combat knife and not just like a little blade that you made. I like that. It is United Colonies combat knife here, and I'll zoom in on this in post just so we can see maybe what that says. I don't know if it's anything important. But we see that it gives us 16 points of damage, and then what else do we have here?
You can also choose.
And then we also have our rescue axe. It's for emergencies only, of course. But I love the design of this. It's not just like a hatchet, right? Like it's a modern, futuristic, sophisticated option for chopping up whatever needs to be chopped up. And that gives you 17 points of damage. I want to know what a rip shank is, though. That sounds really interesting. It only has 12 points of damage, but I would use it just to say you just got shanked, because that's fun. All right.
To go hands-on.
And here we see like a block with a knife, but also notice this is not the same knife. This is a different knife than we just saw, right? The blade is different, and then also the hilt is different. And so this looks more like maybe what a hunting knife would look like, and not necessarily a combat knife.
With melee weapons.
And of course, just blocking with it, you know, I don't know how much damage that does, just blocking with your arm, but maybe it's something, so we'll take it. Yeah, let me back up here, sorry.
Hands-on with melee weapons.
And we're going to get into some specifics about the combat animations and how it's overall improved and overhauled here in just a few minutes, but a quick note here is that this animation for the knife, this still seems a little strange to me. I think all the punching and the hatchet work looks really, really good, but this one, it's just kind of like a pop. I don't know, it still seems a bit weird. I think it's much better than just the fluid, like just swinging kind of through air like Skyrim did. It just never felt like, oh yeah, this is fun to do. So maybe there's a little bit of a pop there. Maybe the animation and the sound and everything once you're playing that feels good, but it still seems a little strange to me, and almost like it doesn't really hit either. Like it seems like this guy's farther away than what you actually stabbed. You know, I'm not going to critique it too much, but you did crit him there, and you see all that splatter? See all that blood splatter? Woo, that's a lot. But you did crit this guy. Just run right up to him, and so that's where it hits. And again, the distance seems a little weird to me, but I don't know. Maybe that's a sacrifice they had to make. So notice that as you crit him, drops the gun over here, and all this goes everywhere. So that's fun. I know a lot of people love that. If you're not into gore, maybe there's a way to turn that down in your options in your settings menu. I'm not sure. But we also see here that we get to loot him at this point as well. He has a Grendel machine gun, some ammo, 7.77 milliliters, and a technician's ground crew pack. So maybe this is like, I don't know exactly what this is. Maybe this is like a little goodie bag of stuff that he'll have in there. Here, this looks pretty brutal right here. I want to watch that again. This guy's ballsy coming up next to that maggot maw to just hack at it. And again, lots of blood splatter. And we also see the maggot maw kind of backing up. I'm not sure if that's your combat doing that, or if it's just kind of doing like a dodge. I think it's doing just like a dodge. I don't think you're pushing it back with your combat. But again, the distance looks a little iffy on that. And again, I get it. Like these huge creatures, like you're not going to be able to be right up close to them. I just noticed that. It's still an improvement. It's still great. Looks good.
I think it's always a delicate balance between like what's realistic, what's sim, and what's Hollywood. And
I really like that line, striking that balance between what's realistic, what's Hollywood, what's fun. I think this is a great like design philosophy to go off of. So they did a lot of gameplay where I was very impressed with the person controlling the character. They pulled off a lot of hard shots that I would definitely not be able to pull off something that skilled. I think this is a good move to have a very skilled player playing this, as opposed to maybe what we saw of, what was it, the IGN first, where they were playing like the Redfall, and just the player was not doing a great job. We don't know all the context there, but this is a much better viewing experience, at least watching someone who knows what they're doing just really kick some butt in the combat. Again, I want to go back and watch this shot again.
but there's no fun for the player.
That was just epic. We see another ballistics thing come up, kill 20 enemies with a ballistics weapon. So this is kind of updating you. Looks like it probably updates you maybe halfway, because this is 10 out of 20. And then once you complete it, I kind of hope it doesn't notify you every single time, because that might get a little distracting. Much like the XP indicator that is still right in the middle of the screen. I've said my piece. I won't talk about it anymore. Okay, and notice here, it looks like down here we have some indicators on where our enemies are. So there's still a couple behind us here, and then we still have one up here. Let's see if that changes as we go through. Yeah, because from right here, there's two right here. There's two little notches right there. And then as we go through and we shoot, where that explosion goes off, kills one guy, get our XP notification again. That fire looks really good, guys. That fire looks really good. I haven't noticed that yet. It looks really good. Let's watch it again. This is fun doing this together, isn't it? Just right there. It looks really, really good. One more time.
With Starfield, we
like a freeze frame on it. Okay, so it blows up, and then we see it kind of blooming there. Looks really good. I mean, just look at all the details on the edge. Kind of the dark, kind of contrasted with the light and smoke. Yes. It's going to be good. Okay, so my first time watching this, I just assumed that the character like threw a cryo grenade or an ice grenade out like we've seen him do before, and we'll see again here in a minute. But he actually shoots this chamber. See this? Shoots that chamber, and it freezes. And does it freeze? It does. So it freezes that player character, and you see him frozen. You see him frozen and like falling over, again, from the physics of this kind of blasting out. So it freezes him, and he starts to fall over, and that gives you some free shots to the face. All right.
It's more dynamic.
Let's back up and see that together.
It's more dynamic. The animations are more fluid.
There's some more guys over here. So I think that is a really cool like crowd control mechanic. Let's see what else the player does here.
Animations are more fluid. It just feels great.
It does feel great. All right. Here we have one of our heavy weapons, and we talked about this earlier, but notice all of these laser sights right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe. So there may be up to 54 different barrels on this, which is just insane. And so notice that watch your rounds right here. Okay, so we go from 60 to 143 in a split second. I mean, it is rolling through these rounds. Let's see how long it takes them to blast through this guy.
We probably have more mods and more weapons in this game than I want to say any other game we've done.
So here we get a great look at a lot of our inventory options here. Over on the left side of the screen, we have all of our different weapons and their different damage types. So if we scroll through here, we have the Beowulf, Brawler's Equinox, Coachman, Drumbeat, Ember. Drumbeat is what we saw earlier that we were looking at in the crafting section. Ember, Eternity's Gate, Experimental A7, Hard Target, Microgun, interesting. We also see our total carrying capacity, our mass, so we're almost at capacity here. Here we have the highest damage as the Experiment A7. This may be like an experimental weapon. That may be one of those electromagnetic ballistic arrays that we saw earlier. Eternity's Gate seems to be like in a different color as well. Some of these have different colors, so I'm wondering if that's an indicator of like their weapon type that you can cycle through, maybe. So this rare laser rifle is an electromagnetic weapon. We see even like some cables going on here to kind of give that electromagnetic kind of feel to it. And then we also have the
and
Coachman. We've seen that before. This is a nice shotgun. It looks like they've actually modified this a little bit with the better grip and maybe even a longer barrel than what we've seen before.
more weapons in this game.
Got a drum beat, what we saw earlier. An Ember. This is an energy weapon as well. And it has a few notes here about it. Has ignition beams and focal lens and a standard barrel with laser sight. So those are good things to note. Moving on. This looks like definitely like an alien tech kind of weapon. I thought this looked really cool. Eternity's Gate. The damage on it doesn't look very high, but let's look over here and see if we can find out some more information. So we know we do physical damage and energy damage. And we know this is a rare particle beam rifle. We've seen that perk before, that skill that we can level up, particle beams. Hand loading, here's a note. It says, volatile rounds that are designed to pack a bigger punch but aren't as stable and can fail on occasion. That's really interesting. So maybe that's a part of like a risk-reward dynamic as a part of using particle beam weapons that, hey, they can push out the damage, but you may find that they don't always work. And so if you're in a heated battle and you want to make sure that your weapons are working for you, this may not be the best option to like go in with. Or maybe you could use this as like a surprise if you're going to ambush a bunch of enemies, go in guns blazing, try to take out a few, and then as it starts to fail, or if it does fail, then have a backup kind of ready and waiting to finish off the rest of them. This is a rare shotgun, and this is my bread and butter. Love shotguns in video games. Has physical damage of 119, just solid, awesome damage. We have a few notes here. We have Exterminator, 30% damage against aliens. Not intelligent aliens, but maybe alien creatures. Okay. And we also have reflex sight, tactical stock, and flechette rounds. Interesting. So all kinds of different mods that it already has on here. You can see the stock and the sights right here. And looks like this right here may be our rounds modifier. I'm unsure.
The other game we've done before. There's a lot of variety.
Upgraded gear.
Man, that was beautiful. Let's just walk through those. So here it looks like we have like a grenade launcher. Here is our magazine for those massive grenades. The grenades are about that size, right? And see the barrel? So that's what we're working with right there. So these are big old boys. And this looks to be like our sights on here, which is really interesting. We'll come through, and it also has something. Okay, CR. This is our rounds counter right here. See, it has 4 right there. Got a good grip, got a nice stock, so plenty of accuracy. Again, we see the size of those rounds. And little warning signs on the side that, let you know, hey, be careful with these. They could explode, okay? And also got another warning right here, which is funny. I'll have to try to zoom in on post and see what that says. Sometimes Bethesda hides little cheeky, humorous things and little details like that. And this is an allied gun. And here we get another look at a good rifle weapon. Here we see again another handle, the stock here. Notice right here, the nice little detail. We have what, 15, 16, 17, 18. And so are these confirmed kills with this weapon? Just 18 kills seems a little light. It could be how many times you've upgraded this weapon. Could be how many times you've died with this weapon. I don't know. Either way, it's a really cool little, design detail. Okay, so I love this shot here. So we got a Maelstrom gun, got laser sight, muzzle, got more sights up here, have probably our magazine counter right there, our rounds counter. Got the grip, and have some sort of add-on modifier right there as well. I don't know what that would be. Maybe this is your rounds modifier, like a ballistics or a heavy or a explosive. I'm not sure. We haven't seen that before. Okay, so watch right here, and you're going to see the shell from the round come out as he shoots and as it kind of launches it out. Fires, and right there. I just think that is so cool to watch. It's spinning. Definitely has some realistic. This I don't know about this guy though. This one's just kind of like floating here, just like spinning and floating, and not real sure what it's doing. Let's go back and watch it. Okay, so this guy's all the way up. Oh, this is coming up from the ground. Maybe it bounced off of something. Man, the physics are just awesome in this game. So that game bounced off of something. Or so that round did, that shell. Look at that muzzle flash. Man, that's big. You guys see that? Right here. Big muzzle flash. I want to use that weapon for sure. I don't think I've seen this yet, or at least I haven't paid any attention to it. This emblem right here, that's not Freestar Collective, that's not United Colonies, that's not the Crimson Fleet. So what is that? Have I missed it? Let me know what this is in the comments and put the time code on here. Okay, so here we see this awesome and very heavy looking rifle. And we also have this awesome scope on here. Check this guy out. This definitely looks like an upgraded scope. Again, we have our rounds counter, and looks like we also have some little power options here. That's a power icon, and up and down. Yeah, very interesting. Don't know what that's for. But also we have a big muzzle on here that may be a type of suppressor. It's hard to tell from this angle. But what's even more interesting, look what this scope can do.
Combat.
So he's talking about how sometimes you need to modify your weapons for specific moments in combat or specific environments. And notice how just kind of hazy everything is. And so your visibility is a little bit lower than normal. So what would you do if that were a situation you were in? Well, you might think about using a thermal scope.
You may need.
And as you zoom in, look at this. You can also see, kind of notice all the snow falling, which is what's making it hazy. Or maybe this is dust. But I absolutely love that they have this thermal scope option here. You see this guy, and you're gonna, with your sights, you're gonna aim right down on him while he's sitting nice and still. And of course, you're hidden. So you're going to get some damage bonus, which is amazing. So down here, you have the option to hold your breath. This is probably what's making this so steady. What's making it, doesn't have that camera sway, that gun sway on there. Nice, so quick. And yes, of course, you do get sneak attack damage, and you do upgrade, or you get your next level in your stealth. Perform 10 stealth attacks, and you upgrade. Woohoo! Congrats. Okay, so notice as you boost, already, this looks so much better than what it did in the June showcase of last year in 2022, right? The flames, the boosting looks so much better, so much cleaner. We'll kind of have the flames here, and then kind of the exhaust from that boost right there. And notice over here, again, it's still in the same place, but this is kind of our boost endurance, if you will, how much boost we have. And that's, again, probably something you can upgrade, because I know that your boost pack is a skill that you can get and that you can probably upgrade. So as he boosts over this rock, back up just a little bit.
Boost packs are excellent for getting around.
And we notice that he boosts a little bit, and then he kind of floats just a little bit. And this is what the developer's talking about. Like when your gravity is lower, that these boost packs kind of have even better effect because they can really take advantage of that low gravity. So you kind of boost up just a bit, and you kind of makes you feel like you can float or fly a little bit.
And for giving you an edge in combat.
Absolutely. And so we also see a bunch of enemies with boost packs on their back, but we don't see them using it that often, which I think is interesting. I think in this trailer, this gameplay, they're wanting you to feel like, hey, you're awesome. You have all these abilities. I don't think they showed anywhere where these guys are using their boost packs. I may be wrong about that. But can you imagine being overwhelmed with a bunch of enemies down the ground? You're trying to fly around, shoot them all, but there's also 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe up to 5 other enemies kind of flying around in the air doing the same thing to you, trying to pin you down. These are going to be some awesome combat scenarios. I cannot wait. This is going to be such a fun play style that it's going to be hard not to like lean into this too much. And so just to try to have like a variety of play style, right? Because I think the first thing we're going to do when we come into a situation, to some sort of battle arena, is just boost up, and then just fire some grenades down on the ground to lighten the load, spread out, thin out the herd, if you will, and then we'll come down and maybe have a submachine gun or a pistol ready to kind of clear out the rest. But I think that's going to be such a fun play style that I'm kind of afraid that I'm going to overuse it. But we'll see. There's going to be lots of other stuff too. Okay, and so right here, this was interesting because this guy is glowing kind of like what we saw earlier with the thermal scope dynamic, but we don't have our thermal scope on. So it's possible that maybe we have a modifier on our helmet that is allowing us to see certain types of enemies. Because again, if we go back, this guy down here, go back, let's see, he's already, this guy, he is not glowing. And then we get to this guy over here, he is glowing. And so lots of questions. Is this guy a special kind of enemy that he just glows for whatever reason? Or do we have something active like a perk or skill or something modded into our helmet that allows us to see, that allows us to like kind of mark certain enemies, maybe heavy weapon enemies or maybe leveled up enemies, like they're elites of some sort? I'm not sure, but these are good questions to ask. He went down pretty quickly, so I don't think he was an elite. Maybe we can scratch that out.
Gravity environments pose a different challenge. Firing a ballistic weapon in 0G will actually push you backwards.
This is no surprise, but this is such a neat little like attention to detail that if you're in 0G or even light gravity, if you fire a ballistic weapon, it's going to push you back, right? The laws of physics, laws of gravity. It's going to push you back. And I think that is just so neat. And so I love how they kind of answer this in the context of, okay, well, if you have energy weapons, they don't do that.
Energy weapons, on the other hand, offer a more stable shooting experience.
So, you could use being pushed back by a ballistic weapon to your advantage as far as just kind of how to stay fluid, how to stay, moving, kind of be a harder target. But that also might make it more difficult for you to aim and focus on the combat scenario. So it's good that they give you the option to use energy weapons that, who knows, there could be plus and minuses to them, but they're definitely not going to make you move or affect your position on the battlefield as much whenever you're in the middle of combat in 0G. And man, I love the way this looks. This looks so cool. It's like a laser's kind of coming out of it. Oh, looks so good. It's gonna be so fun.
We also have mag weapons.
Get back just a little bit.
Weapons, on the other hand, offer a more stable shooting experience.
We also have mag weapons. These are high-powered electromagnetic induction ballistic arrays.
High-powered electromagnetic induction ballistic arrays. Wow, say that 3 times fast. I'm not going to. But this is just awesome. So we have one here, mag pulse. We have the magazine there, and or maybe that's the chamber. I'm unsure. Yeah, I think you switch them out. So that's kind of it. That's everything. Then we have the barrel and all of these laser sights coming out here that are just going to rip through enemies. This is going to be fun, guys. This is going to be fun.
Each barrel has its own targeting laser and can dish out some serious damage.
Oh man, I like that shot. The blue. I mean, the blue just kind of looks like it's a laser cutter or something. All that there. Again, this might have been what we saw earlier when we had the 160 rounds, or maybe that's just standard for these. We have some more kind of control buttons right there. I'm not exactly sure what those do. May just be for design. But yeah, look at this. Oh, so you kind of, these are heavy weapons, right? So you kind of hold them from the hip, like this guy is. He's not holding them down sights. Wow, this looks so good.
Serious damage.
I mean, in a split second. I want to see how many frames it takes once you start firing. All right, so once you start firing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 frames. So 7 divided by 30, that's about 1/4 of a second. That's about 1/4 of a second. That is amazing. Whew. Just right through him, like a hot knife through butter. And then freeze this guy, and then this guy takes a little bit. That's a big robot model. It takes a little bit more to get through him. Then we start talking about melee combat here and just punching. So I'm just going to play through this.
Personal with your own 2 fists, or you like more compact weapons like pistols and submachine guns, or maybe you prefer something bigger. Starfield's got you covered.
Love it. Okay, let's go back to the beginning of this section, where they start just punching the aliens in the face.
With your own 2 fists,
I think this looks so good. And so this guy, this guy has full health. Now he's level 5. We don't know what level you are, or I don't think we've heard how the leveling works either. If the environment and your enemies scale up with you, or if the enemies are static, right? If they just have one level and they kind of stay the same. If you're the same level and you just punch this guy and he goes down in one hit, that is impressive. It looks like they're giving melee some due credit here. And if melee is this powerful, I can see a lot of people, rolling a melee character. This would be really neat, or at least having it as like a backup if their ammo gets low or something. I like the way, it's hard to tell, I kind of go in slow motion here, but from the sound design and from the animation, it looks a lot better than what we used to have with melee combat. So I'm very happy with this.
fists,
Just punching an alien in the face. He's like, hold on. Okay, this guy's a level 25, and so he's a little bit more. And this is interesting. I didn't notice this before. Look at, he has another little bar right there. I think that's the symbol for electromagnetic. So maybe he has some resistance to electromagnetic weapons. And maybe that bar goes down first with those kinds of weapons, and then you start getting his armor, his health. But just look at the animation here. So you go to punch this guy, and just his head, that long head, just goes way over. I love that. I hope that, like, if you were to punch with your other hand, that his head would go the other way, and that there's, they're kind of reacting like that. Man, I just think that is so funny. Whoa. Just okay.
or you like more compact weapons.
All right, and then we get to see some more weapons. We get to see like a pistol here. I think we've seen this pistol before. I think that's the combat tech pistol we've seen. Has the same sights on it. Doesn't have that suppressor that we saw in there earlier. It does have your laser sights there. And it's got, looks like it has a larger magazine too, right in the grip, kind of protruding out just a little bit. That's good to know. Keep moving.
Weapons
Here we see another kind of pistol. Let's see. This is an electromagnetic pistol, it looks like. Let's see all the, it still has a muzzle flash on it, but it has all this kind of blue electromagnetic stuff that we saw earlier coming out. What is that? I'll have to zoom in on post and see if I can verify what that is for you.
It's like pistols and submachine guns.
I like that transition. Little transition through the wall. And then you're firing another gun on the other side of it. That's pretty cool. So this is definitely a ballistic weapon. See the barrel flash. See the barrel flash and laser sight coming down. We also see this guy kind of moving back and forth. Interesting. And yeah, it's a submachine gun, so it's a lot tighter. It's not as long, right? It's just like a regular assault rifle. But it looks like it could be good for maybe some lighter damage, but faster output.
Or maybe you prefer something bigger.
Okay, so this is a machine gun. Kind of like a Gatling gun, if you will. And so you're going to start out firing, and look, I thought this was a grenade launcher at first, but he's shooting into this tank. He's going to blow that up to knock this hunting maggot maw down. Boom. Again, the fire looks awesome. And notice how the hunting maggot maw gets staggered and just falls over. That just kind of stood out to me as like, hey, I love the way that the enemies are interacting with what's going on in the environment. It's not just getting damaged and freezes up for a second. It actually falls over from that massive explosion, then stumbles back up while it's still on fire, and you just go to town on it, just ripping through it.
Starfield's got you covered.
Love it. So here, this actually looks maybe like that experimental shotgun we saw earlier. I'm unsure, but it is an Allied something. We see that right here. Got another good shot. Oh, I like this one. This one may be part of the thumbnail. I don't know. We'll see. Love this whole look. Is this one of the mercenaries? One of the ecliptic mercenaries? The stuff on his helmet makes me think that's one of the cults, maybe. Guys, all this looks so good. I really like this weapon too. This looks like a fast-firing revolver pistol. See all these rounds here? I like how they're like closed off too. Feel like they don't show, so like the rounds actually like burst out of those. That's really interesting. That's an interesting design choice. Or maybe that is the round, and maybe that's like for the rifling. That's how they spiral coming out of the gun. I don't know. It's the sights on there, and this is going to rotate around as we fire. And it fires quick. Fires really quick for a revolver. Usually revolvers are not that quick. I really like how this seems like it's going to feel. Just pay special note to the reticule here in the middle. I like this reticule. Let me back up a little bit. So I wanted to back up here. Your reticule here when you're firing is yellow right here, or excuse me, it's orange. And why is it red in other places, or why is it orange here? Maybe from a crit shot, or maybe from a headshot? I don't know. Right there, I feel like you got some headshots too. Maybe you didn't start with one, but everything else is red. Very interesting. We have a hunting twist fin here. Looks like an alien creature on a desert planet, so to speak. Looks definitely dinosaurish, like with a tail and claws, kind of like a velociraptor. Which, what did we hear earlier? The Ashta are like a cross between a wolf and a velociraptor. So maybe this isn't exactly the same, but maybe it's in the same family, same genus, maybe. Okay, so that was an ecliptic mercenary. So that's kind of, they look like they are very heavy armored. This guy was coming at you with an axe. And so you put a stop to that real quick. Let's see. Fly up. Take down these guys. I love that. Throw down a little cryo grenade here. And freeze this guy as he's coming at you with, he's got an axe as well. So you're gonna stop that in its tracks. And then you got like a big sword. I mean, look at this. Okay, so right here, oh, we do get a frame. Look at this. I'm trying to like keep my eyes open for like little bitty glitches and little bitty bugs and little bitty mistakes. But right here we can see one. See how the blade hilt kind of breaks out of his hand just for a frame. Right there, it's still in it. Comes out, and then it's back in it. So it was just for a single frame, but it's there. And yeah, this is totally just a big sword. It looks like I mean, look right here. This is very interesting. So it looks like it has these little designs in the hilt. Kind of looks like a ninja sword. That is very cool. Didn't know there were space ninjas, but space ninjas confirmed. Or maybe you're in a museum or something. You just grabbed whatever you could find to help you. Right here. Whew. Man, if this big guy was coming at me, I do not like spiders. Yucks! I want to see that again. I don't want to see it again, but that's a big old guy. So that's a level 60, and that's a herding spider wasp grazer. A spider wasp? That is one of the scariest things that you could imagine. A spider and a wasp together. No, thank you. Gonna stay clear of that one. Got more little hand machine guns here. And you switch to your knife. Nice little grenade throw there. Critted with a grenade throw. And over here we got our electromagnetic ballistic array gun, and we're just gonna shred through this guy. Oh wait, no, that's a shotgun. Excuse me. I saw all these laser sights, and maybe it's still that type of weapon, but it's a shotgun variation. Yeah, still a ballistic weapon. We can see everything pop up over here. But yeah, all these laser sights there made me think it was the other kind. Let me back up. Ooh, this is killing me. This is definitely a little frightening, right? All these robots running at you. These are Varun robot models. So this is House Varun, right? One of the religious cults in the game, or one of the religions in the game. Maybe I shouldn't judge them and call them a cult. Who knows? They may be nice people. Taking out these guys, space pirates. Again, just awesome combat. Aiming. Oh, whoa. Whoa. You shoot this guy's. I want to be able to do that so bad. I just don't think I'm going to be good enough. And so you shoot this guy's. Maybe it's, maybe this isn't where you shoot their jetpack. Maybe it's kind of like a finishing animation, right? How those were somewhat random in some of their other games, like you wouldn't always get a finisher animation. Maybe this is kind of like a finisher animation, because right here you see you shoot him once and it's not in the back, it's like in the chest, and then he sparks up and does his little animation like, huh, what's going on? No, my jetpack, which brings back Rocketeer vibes. Holler at me in the comments if you remember the Rocketeer. And blows up way over there from right here. Ah! That's awesome. And then, of course, we have this scene. I don't know what to think of this. I don't know what to think of this. Let's just watch it. Let's just watch it. And then it just ends and cuts to Todd, and he's smiling at the camera like a cheeky son of a gun. All right, let's go back. See what we can see. So they got your guy walking through here just like a boss. Got lasers flying past him like he doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. He knows what's going down. Reaches his hand out. No gun, no dial, no device. And does something where he activates some sort of power, and we see these little bitty, see these like all these little bitty light particles, something indicating that something's happening here, and activates it. And as all these people are shooting at you, they don't have any kind of like HUD up here where we see you like using your CO2, your oxygen, or your endurance, or see everything coming down. We don't know what's happening here, but we do know that once you activate this power that you have, that all of these guys stop shooting you and they just like pass out. And it takes a second. Okay, wait. So does it drop their guns? Okay, so the guns disappear. What is happening there? So what is happening? This is the first time I'm really like looking at this with you guys. So notice the guns everywhere. Guns everywhere firing at you. As you activate this, it takes it a moment. It's from right here to right here. See this girl, this guy's gun right there? See this gun right here? Next frame, they disappear. And they just kind of go limp. They're in 0G. You see all this other rubble around you start to float up. They start to float up. And so, what is this? Tell me what you think in the comments. And I'm not just saying that for like engagement or whatever. Like, I really want to know. Let me know in the comments or head over to Discord. Tell me what is going on here, because I have no idea. I have no theories. I have no reasoning. I have no logic. I am just befuddled, but man, am I interested in it. I think it looks so cool and so awesome. Okay, so that's the end of that section. I want to go back real quick to the skills section because they dive into a little bit of combat there. All right, so we're back in the skills section now. I'm not going to go real into depth into the skills part. Just wanted to kind of breeze over the combat sections here. So they do note that the boost pack training is a skill. So this can either probably give you more boost pack endurance or longer boost, maybe even stronger boost to get you through more stronger gravity. We'll see.
Everywhere.
Right here, he's just talking about how he likes to fly over. Just give us some more examples of flying over. And here we see the indicator that we are leveling up our boost pack training. Love that.
Maxing out my physical tree so I can get neuro strikes and just.
And this guy talks about a skill that helps him kind of be better at melee. Neuro strikes, maybe just cracking skulls open here.
Punch my way through combat.
I love that. In low gravity, it just comes and punches him. He just goes flying with the Wilhelm. Sorry, that's an inside joke.
That one's a lot of fun.
Invest in the skills that suit your playstyle.
Okay, here's where we get to see a little bit more of stealth, and this is what I want to show you.
Very much a stealth player. So, I'm out there.
Okay, right here, see where this is our hidden meter. This is the sneak mechanic. you see all these little notches here. So this is saying kind of how hidden we are and if we're about to be discovered. So this is kind of how you need to either find better hiding or you need to go ahead and do what you came here to do.
Pickpocketing everyone. My favorite part about being stealthy is slowly creeping through vents like...
I love it that I called this vent thing in my WTF video. This was so cool for me. I honestly did not expect it, but it's really cool that it exists.
you're in a movie and then jumping out and swinging on people.
Love it. Okay, so again, with the sneak, this really isn't combat, but notice we can pickpocket before we do the thing that we came here to do, and we're still hidden there. So just want to show you that as a part of combat. Love it. And we have another type of knife here as well. This isn't the combat knife we've seen before, and it's not the hunting knife we saw earlier. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of variety between melee, between regular like ballistic guns that we're used to, between electromagnetic guns, between the bullet arrays, and maybe some other cool stuff that they didn't even show us. I'm very excited for the combat in this game. If you're like me and you love watching videos about Starfield, then I would love it if you give the video a like, help other Starfield fans find our content, and consider subscribing. That way you won't miss any content as soon as it launches. And if you're looking for a community of people to enjoy Starfield with, then we invite you to join our Signal crew over on Discord. This is such a fun way to connect with other positive and excited players in a space where you don't have to worry about internet trolls kind of babbling on about 60 FPS or junk like that. And finally, thank you so much to all of our patrons and our channel members. They get really cool perks like ad-free viewing, early access to new videos, and even their names immortalized in the credits of these videos. And for the biggest Starfield fans, there's even a producer tier, and I'll let you explore those perks on your own through the links in the description. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and engaging in the comments. Let me know what you think about the new combat system in the comments below. For now, may you find wonder as you journey through the stars.